Ben?
Ben! Benny! Oh, hey, Benny! Benny, boy!
What do you want me to dress? 9B okay?
Yeah, sure, Benny. Benny, what happened?
I caught a jet flight by accident. I've got to be back in 4 hours, so you better put me on soon.
I knew you'd make it. I knew you'd make it for me.
Not for you, Johnny boy. Not for you.
This is Talkback. Our drama for this program is called The Greatest Ever. Our guest is Mrs. Henry Cannon, better known in the entertainment world as Minnie Pearl. Later, Dr. Ross Snyder and Mr. Merle Emery will be asking Mrs. Cannon questions raised by our play.
That's it for tonight, folks. Look in again on us next week, huh?
You wrote a good show tonight, Sam.
Hey, you can write yourself purple, but your comic has got to deliver. And your network has a real delivery boy in Johnny Keys.
Oh, we're not blind to Johnny. Or his writer.
Good night. See you all next week, huh?
Wonderful show, Joe.
Oh, you're great, honey. See you backstage, right? Let's get this cleaned up right away.
On the nose, Johnny.
We do good, you think?
You couldn't do bad.
Nice, Johnny, nice.
Benny, you saved me, man. No, I mean it. I was so up in that schoolroom bit I could have touched the ceiling. You brought me right out of it.
I'm a guest. I get paid for saving the star.
Johnny, one of the best.
You really liked it, huh?
That street carpet was great when you grabbed those packages with your teeth. I thought I'd die, honest.
Oh, Ben's idea, the teeth bit. Ben's, not mine. Hey, teeth bit. Teeth bit. I say, did I make a joke, Sam?
Private Colby, Johnny.
Hey, right there. Teeth bit. Hello. Oh, hello, Mrs. Rogers. Oh, the kids like me, huh? All of them? Ah, come on now. There must have been one critic in the bunch. Say, look, did they get the toys that I sent them? Ah, well, great. Well, you tell them thanks for the scrapbook they sent along to me. Honestly, I bawl like a kid myself every time I look at it. Right. Good night now. Sometimes you stop to think of the floors, you know. 200 kids in that one home alone. Sick like that. And maybe 5,000, 6,000 more across the country with the same thing. Every one of them needing special medical attention.
Hey, what's in the noodle?
Oh, I was just wondering. If we can only do something for the kids, Sam.
A closing pitch for money, you mean, on a show?
Yeah, something like that. Wouldn't it be great if we could get all the dough, boom, one shot, just like that?
The only thing that's a lot of money quick is a telethon, you know, where you keep asking for it half a night.
Telethon? Hey, telethon, that's not a bad idea. We line up a lot of great acts. We get Clint to arrange time on the network. I stand out there and pitch, and the public sends in pledges.
Johnny, you ever run one of these telethon bashes before?
No, but I could try. Ah, come on now, Louie. We got to get you on this show. You will too. Good man. Good for you. But I'm writing you in hopes that you might appear for a benefit that I'm giving for some kids out here. Okay, then we can count on you for that date. Good. Thanks a lot. Right. Here we go. And something like this, around and around. I come in here and I hit it. Point, good. Oh, I'm surrounded by talent. What about the wire to the telethon committee?
2 replies already. Looks like your front draft is all set.
Did you call Winchell on the item?
I did.
Hey, writer man, this telethon is beginning to look like something. Here, list of the acts that have accepted so far. Not bad, huh?
Looks good.
Now, let me see. I got to get on to Clint about network time, and I better give him that call to L.A. Hey, Sam, do you think maybe we could keep going on the air 12 hours? You know, the longer we're on, the more pledges that come in, huh? Oh, Grace, you can give me that Beverly Hills number. Yeah, buzz me back, will you? Good.
Why'd you have to pick a date like the 28th? My agent may have me in Vegas.
Vegas?
Yeah.
Come on now. How can we run a telethon without Benny Foreman?
How does the president run the country without Benny Foreman? You know something? He manages.
Benny, these kids are important.
Who says they're not?
So be here, huh? Hello? Oh, look, come on, Bob. I could have called any other agent in town. It's a benefit for kids. Bobby, look, all I'm asking for is that you keep me in the foreground. You have the girls going behind me. Now, what's the problem? What's so difficult about it?
Johnny, he can't keep you in focus like that. Honest, let's just change the shot.
Well, he's not trying. You change the shot, you ruin the bit. Now, listen, you get that lug to exert himself a little bit. That's what you're paid to do, isn't it? We're scheduled late tomorrow night because of everything, so don't make any dates, huh?
Uh-huh.
Man, this is a benefit for who knows how many needy kids who gotta have operations, every one of them. Special medical care. That takes a lot of money.
I know all about it, Johnny.
Well, what's that, a crack?
It'll be 4 straight nights in a row. The girl will maybe miss seeing her fella. She's not happy over it. Let her alone, Johnny.
So what's the matter now? What am I doing now, bothering people? Am I supposed to be sorry that I'm helping sick kids? Well, that's a switch.
Take it easy now. Take it easy. Don't make adrenaline.
Excuse me.
Who refused to marry her?
Benny, we're going to have the greatest show this side of the old night of stars.
I haven't heard about Vegas yet. Great agent, huh?
Forget Vegas. Look, I told Winchell we'd do that teeth bit again. He's going to give us a whole paragraph on it.
Forget Vegas. I can't do without Vegas, but those kids can do without me.
Oh, sure. Sure, you go ahead and think that. That's what everybody thought before I picked up those kids and started plugging them.
Johnny, what's happening to you, huh?
We'll really do a job on that teeth bit this time.
Yeah.
No! I want the whole ad bigger and better. We're only 2 days away. Now, Clint, about that hour
Johnny,
business.
we've cleared most of the network for 12 continuous hours. Now, don't you think that's...
Now, you listen to me. I intend to stand in front of that camera until they have to take me out in a stretcher. I intend to make this the biggest and the best telethon this country's ever seen. I'm going to make more loot for these kids.
Oh.
Now, come on in. We're through as far as I'm concerned. Clint. Now, I want that taken care of.
I'll tell them what you said.
Fight for everything. I tell you, Sam, a guy who wants to do something for people, like for these kids, has to fight every inch of the way to get things done the way they ought to be.
I know.
You have to hack your way through a wall of human flesh, dragging your canoe behind you.
Huh?
It's an old gag of W.C. Fields.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, it's no time for gags.
Hello. Oh, Benny. Hiya, Benny. So Vegas came through for you, huh? Well, Benny, I know you told me, but... Oh, now look, Benny, this telethon for the kids has got to be the best. Okay, don't come. Who needs you? You think I need Benny Foreman and my whole show collapses, huh? Well, you're not that good, Benny. Far from it. And I'll tell you another thing.
That he can welch out on me like that.
He's tied to a contract.
Well, forget him. He's out. Tear up this bit. And while we're on bits, this stuff you wrote for the benefit is grade Z lousy porch clown material. I don't like it.
Johnny, maybe some of the stuff isn't up there, but most of it...
Most of it. Sam, I want everything in this show the very best that I can make it. I want that audience to feel that they've seen the greatest show ever. Then they'll dig in like crazy and send those checks along.
Is that what you want, Johnny?
The moment this show is over, I quit. I mean it.
Some night.
Maybe if you give me one of those tranquilizers you're always taking.
Okay, now who's set to come up on stage when I asked during the warm-up?
Stanley's arranging that.
Stanley? I asked you to do that.
I've been busy with 100 other details, Johnny. You know that.
I see. What I say around here doesn't matter anymore, huh? Well, that's just great. That's just great.
Why don't you just hit her and get it over with?
Isn't that Ben?
Ben. Benny! Oh, hey, Benny. Benny boy.
What do you want me to dress? 9B okay?
Yeah. Yeah, sure, Benny.
Benny, what happened?
I caught a jet flight by accident. I've got to be back in 4 hours, so you better put me on soon.
I knew you'd make it. I knew you'd make it for me.
Not for you, Johnny boy. Not for you. I'll slap on some makeup. Huh?
Did you get the message?
Come on, Sam. This is no time for that.
No, it's way past time. Someone ought to have told you before that you have become murder on wheels, Johnny.
Oh, look, Sam.
Tell me something. Do you really believe that no one in the world ever helped anybody until you came along?
I never said that.
To say you act. I'll give you a piece of news. My personal name for this whole shebang of yours has been, you know what? Operation Ego.
What?
Oh, I know. It's all for the kids. You want this to be the biggest and best benefit ever put on for the kids.
Oh, that's right.
It started out that way, sure, but it ended up in left field someplace.
Sam, you don't understand.
No? Well, you take it off then. The way you've been acting. Screaming, hurting everybody, pushing people around. Not a joke in you.
Okay, Sam, so I went overboard a little. I was just trying to help those kids.
I don't buy. You try to make this show the greatest ever because you're doing it. Johnny Keys is doing it.
Sam, you work with me for years. You know me better than that.
I do, yes. So it surprises me maybe, but there it is, turkey on the table. Johnny Keys over everything. You got yourself mixed up with God someplace, maybe with those kids, I don't know. But, well, look at Benny. He's sore at you, but he's here because, well, really because of the kids, I guess. that's your warm-up music.
I better get out there. Sam, I thought I was always thinking of the kids. Honest.
I think you were, but it just came out a little the wrong way. Here, I'll take your robe.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, he may have his heart in the right place, but I want to tell you...
I'd listen a lot easier if I was sure it wouldn't happen to you or me sometime. Like tomorrow. What I mean is that it shows up easier on Johnny because he does things in a big way. But who's going to lay 6 to 5 that it doesn't happen to all of us in little doses?
Okay. Come on. All right.
Well, even without the hat with the price tag and the familiar howdy, we just cannot start a discussion without saying something about Grinder's Switch, Mrs. Cannon. Do you find the kind of people in Grinder's Switch that we find in our drama today?
I'm afraid so. But not as many there. Maybe. I don't know. I guess there would be if we got up some sort of a drive to clean up the cemetery or something. I guess that somebody would take over like that and get a little heady in a smaller way.
Isn't it too bad what a person like this misses out in their relation with other people when they let
Oh.
something like this get a hold of them?
Yeah, they just close their minds, see? And they deprive themselves of all that fine rapport.
Well, I'd like to speak up for Johnny Keys for a minute. He was under terrific tension. You can't expect people to be always smiling when they're trying to put over a really important show, and he is under tensions, and why shouldn't you expect that a fellow will blow his top a bit?
Well, the thing that I couldn't be sure of was how long the boy had been in show business.
Oh, yeah. Why do you say that?
Well, if he'd been in show business only a short time, the tendency would have been greater for him to become involved in that inflation of the ego there that seemed to blind him to the real point of the thing.
And it's perfectly all right to have a real desire to have excellence. He didn't want a lousy show, and don't you really have to drive in a way to hold people up to quality? And
Oh, yes, you do. Heavens, I could see how he would get into trouble, but the thing that bothered me was, in watching him, was that although it was built around show business, this happens in civic organizations, in all walks of life. As he said there at the end, it might happen to us tomorrow. It has happened to us, maybe. I'm guilty.
In the early part of the drama, did you find him using a device with all of this backslapping, telling everybody how much he had depended on it? Then he comes right along and tries on his own to make a funny that fell flat on its face. Doesn't this point up our need for all of these people around us?
Yes, and I think from having been around people in show business who are in what we call the big time, and we call our business the small time because it is, believe me. I don't want to get any wrong ideas. But in the true big time, in our network television shows and all that sort of thing, we do find that these people, this becomes automatic, which is sad, but I don't guess there's any way out of that either, is there?
well, isn't it true?
This backs at me and said, couldn't have done it without you. You know, and it does, I'm afraid, become just automatic.
Well, doesn't every job in some way warp us so that we're kind of always tend to fall into something that isn't too good, whatever the job is? Now, a minister tends to also become a backslapper, too.
Oh, yes, I guess he does. I hadn't thought about it that way, and that's bad, too, because we never think of the other person as having the same problem that we do, which makes us automatically make our problem bigger.
Do you think there was any part or any place in here where this boy could have recognized that he was getting off on this tangent?
If I kept waiting for them to bring in his family.
You think they would have helped him?
they could have either helped him or hurt him. But I wanted to know what his wife was like, if he had one.
And if you had found out?
Then I would have found out whether it could have been stopped before that. See, if he had come home every night, gradually, as he went along, every time, raving about this great big sugar.
Yeah.
If he had come home and his wife had said, "Oh, wait a minute, now, who are we doing this for? Aren't you forgetting the little patter of feet? Or aren't you thinking about, aren't you getting pretty, let's tone down." You see, I happen to have a husband who is one of the funniest people in the world. And some of the people here know him, and he's really funny, and he has a great way of taking me down. And I need it. And all of us do. I'm not going to put myself up just as the only person that needs
So
it. All of
a
us.
sense of humor that comes to you through your husband or wife is very important.
It's very important. And if they come at you, you know, and say, "I guess you're pretty big, aren't you?" I mean, you know, we're just lucky to be around you, I guess. You know, there's very few of us left.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that sense of humor, that'll do it quicker than anything. Everybody who is in show business, or I guess everybody, regardless of what business you're in, you need somebody to come along behind you and sort of take that out of you, because you see, in show business particularly, with people like this boy, Johnny, he had people everywhere telling him how great he was, how funny he was. And he just naturally, you read your own publicity, and
you're
you get to
saying
believing it.
that if he really had his sense of humor, instead of just making laughs, he'd be able to kind of see he wasn't quite as big as he thought he was?
Well, I'll tell you something interesting to me. I think it will be to you. I read a very interesting book recently, and it had to do, one of the chapters had to do with whether Jesus ever laughed. There is no reference that I know of, and I've inquired from several sources. There are, as far as I know, no references in the Bible as to whether Christ laughed. But this wonderful thing that I read said that he might not have laughed, but he fixed it so we could. Which I think is very wonderful and so true. And I feel that a sense of humor has to do more probably with humility than any other human characteristic. I'm wrong about that. Stop me if I am. You tell me, but don't you think that it does have a great deal to do with
Makes
humility?
a great lot of sense to me. I'd like to understand some more of your kind of philosophy of what's important to you as you are in show business. What makes it worthwhile to you, anyhow?
Well, laughter. Now, I one time wrote a paper for a church paper. I wrote a little article, and I said, laughter is a part of my religion. And I wrote a short paper on that. Well, I got some letters about it, wonderful letters, people who agreed. But I got a letter from a man, and he said, "I didn't like that. Laughter is not the word you wanted. Joy is the word you wanted." Well, he said, laughter is a shallow word. Joy is a deep word. It has to do with our religion.
So that partly you go around helping people laugh because you have a need to love people and to feel that they love you?
I just enjoy people.
You just enjoy people?
I do. I really do.
Wherever you go?
Yes. And the greatest thing that has happened to me is being able to put on the hat with the price tag and the yellow dress and the white cotton stockings. And then I'm not, it's a vehicle by which I can go anywhere I want to. And Minnie Pearl is a vehicle by which I can approach any age, any walk of life. And I don't have to worry about how much my dress cost, or how much her dress cost, or how much his suit cost, or how much, whether they belong to a club or don't belong to a club. Because there aren't any clubs in Grinders Switch. Oh, well, we have the Helping Hand Society.
But
And
Grinders
Lady
Switch is something that has the kind of society you somewhat believe in, because it doesn't...
Oh, it's a utopia that will never exist. It's a place where it's a never land. But I still love to bring it out and live in it for a while and let other people live there. Where my only worry is whether my feller Hezzy will invite me to the church social, and whether I'll sing right at the church social. You know, I sing very badly, and in fact, one of the worst things my brother has ever said to me was when I didn't eat any supper before I was going to sing, and after I sung, Mammy said, "How'd you think she done?" And he said, "She might as well have ate." But all those worries are so super, you know, there's just so, and that's the world that's the surcease from worry that I try to bring.
Well, now, help me a bit, because I can't put another kind of a hat on.
You'd be funny.
I just have to kind of wear the clothes that my wife and son think I should wear, and I have to kind of be myself most of the time, and in a very blundering way try to love people. I kind of envy you that you can kind of step out and you've got a gimmick and a way of really becoming just the person who likes other people.
Yes, I think more and more, too. I think, unfortunately, we ladies, and you gentlemen, too, I'll have to put you in that, too, because you're becoming more and more clothes conscious. I think the last couple of years, maybe, men have become more clothes conscious than ever. Fabrics, colors, cuts, everything, and women, and makeup, and all of the rearranging of the weight, and all that sort of thing. People are just becoming more and more and more conscious of the externals, the things that back at Grinder's Switch we didn't worry so much over, you know. I mean, everybody had about the same financial bracket. We all farmed. We all went down to the post office and got our mail. It wasn't delivered to our beautiful white-pillared mansion. And I don't know, I guess as we go along, get more and more into this 1961, find cars, find everything, credit cards, status symbols. There aren't any in Grinder's Switch. Steve Jones owns most of the town, but he doesn't make much of it because he just happens to have had a father ahead of him that did, but he never was very much of an enterprising person himself. He goes fishing with Uncle Nabob more than he stays in the store.
Mm-hmm. Well, in effect, are you trying to get back to sort of the humanity that's down underneath all of us, no matter what kind of clothes we wear? Is this what
I'd like to think that was it. Yes, that's what I like to.
This discussion isn't finished until you have thought through to your satisfaction the questions which Dr. Snyder, Mr. Emery, and Mrs. Cannon have been considering. Perhaps you will want to continue to think and talk about the issues which Talkback is raising. Talkback is a public service program presented by this station and the churches of your community. It was produced in cooperation with the National Council of Churches as a contribution of the Methodist Television Ministry.